to beat the Celtics, you have to score the ball at an unbelievable rate, and no duo has been better in the last month and a half than Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant at putting the ball in the basket. We had a TikTok recently on who the top 5 point guards were, and I kind of put and I understand the some of the disliking towards Kyrie off the court and on the court. But the dude's a bucket. I mean, he is unbelievable to watch. He's one of my favorite players ever to watch. His body control and the way he can get to the rim and finish in multiple. He can hit any shot on the basketball court. And I think in order to be able to beat the Celtics, you have to, one, have the same experience or more, and two, you have to be able to score in bunches and be able to respond with scoring punches to their scoring runs. I look at the Sixers. I just don't know if they can. I don't know if they have the firepower around. If we see a vintage Harden down the stretch, a more scoring Harden, I think Harden's got to be more aggressive than potentially. And I don't. There's no answer to Joel Embiid. I really do like the Bucks still, because I think Giannis can be elite. I just don't know. They just aren't scoring that much, and I haven't seen enough of Middleton in the lineup to really get a gauge on where he is at, and it kind of depends on how healthy he is, so he could also be a thing. I don't think the Celtics are clear runaways, but as of right now, I would take the Nets. And I also think the Cavs, if they figure out what the hell they're doing pace-wise, they're playing too slow and defensively, they could give a fight, but I would say those 4 teams are the ones that could give problems, and I would say right now the biggest one's the Nets.
Yeah, Carter, first off, thank you for listing the entire Eastern Conference in your little ramble. I'll say this. I think in the NBA, I think coaching is very important. You look at the Celtics, brand new coach, rookie guy, 'cause, Ime Udoka, did some bad things. You look at the Sixers, Doc Rivers. I think Doc Rivers is one of the most overrated coaches in the history of the sport. With the 76ers, I don't see that team getting to the finals just because of how poor a coach Doc Rivers is. I think Embiid's elite. I think Harden's very good. I think Tyrese Maxey's phenomenal. I like Tobias Harris. It's just Doc Rivers, he continuously finds ways to lose in the postseason. Then, I look at the Nets. Vaughn, brand new coach. He was an assistant coach to start the year. Turns out he's a pretty decent coach because the Nets are on fire lately. Cavaliers started out as like the hottest team in the NBA, and now I think Bickerstaff is losing them a little bit. I don't think Bickerstaff's a great coach. I think he's very, very average with a surplus of talent. Then, going down the list, it's Heat, Knicks, Hawks, Pacers. The only team I could possibly see proposing a threat would be the Heat because of Spoelstra. I think the only threat really to the Celtics is the Milwaukee Bucks. I think Giannis is, phenomenal. And then you add Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton. When those 3 play, that team almost never loses. I think the Bucks are the biggest threat to the Celtics, but I think coaching is going to play such a big part down the line. Not regular season, but postseason. You coach a completely different game when you get to postseason, and I think it'll be very interesting to see how Fazul is his name, I believe. I want to see how he coaches his first postseason series.
Yeah, I'll answer here. I'm glad all 3 of us kind of have different answers because I think mine's pretty clear. It's the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cavs pose the biggest threat to the Boston Celtics. And they've already beat them twice this year. They have the Celtics number, and I think the Cavs have one of the most talented rosters in the entire NBA. I know they're 21-19 in their last since they started 8-1. They've been 21-19, but when it comes to postseason time, Donovan Mitchell is the leader of that team. Like I know Jack says, like you say, Jack, it's coaching and it comes with coaching, but Donovan Mitchell is the leader of that team. They go as he goes. They will ride Mitchell, and I personally think if Mitchell can figure it out and stay healthy on the court, the Cavaliers will pose the biggest threat in the East by far.
I love my Cleveland Cavaliers. I just think they're a year away. I don't see a way where they make it out of the Eastern Conference this year. I think Darius needs to take another step. I think Mobley needs to take another step. I think he's taking it right now, but Mobley has to be a player where he can be the second or third best player on a team that wins a championship. I don't think he's there right now. I think he's getting there. I think we're a year away. Carter, I also disagree with you because you got to take into account the Nets they're without KD. I think they're on a 6-game losing streak, something like that. They've lost almost all the games since KD's gotten hurt. Kyrie is going to say something to piss half the country off within a couple of weeks now, according to my timeline. So he's not going to play at some point. So they're going to finish 6th in the East, would be my assumption. So they're going to have to beat 3 out of the top 4 teams, essentially, to make it into the East, to make it to the finals. So they're going to probably have to beat Boston, Philly, and Milwaukee, or Boston, Philly, and Cleveland. 3 straight series, and I don't think they have the depth to do that. I agree with Jackson here. I think it's the simple answer. I think it's the most straightforward. The Bucks, even though they haven't been healthy this year, they've still been very good. Let their top 3, who have abundance of playoff experience. Budenholzer has proven he can win a championship. I think that's the obvious pick, and they've proven they compete with the Celtics. So I would go with the Bucks. Even though I see where Hunter's talking about the Cavs are 2-0 against the Celtics.
The issue I have with the Bucks is kind of like Carter and Jake both said. It's health wise. Middleton just got back. He missed about a month. He's missed a long time. I haven't seen the Bucks healthy, and Middleton's the number 2 options. So until Middleton's fully healthy and he's back to his true self, then I feel like I can't say the Bucks. And the Nets are just not deep enough. Like the Nets have KD and Kyrie, but they're just not deep enough. Like their 3rd best player is maybe who's the Nets' 3rd best player?
Nicholas Claxton.
Nick Claxton is probably the 3rd best player on the Brooklyn.
Who's actually played extremely well. He's like on pace to almost be an all-star.
Like, I'm just saying.
What about Watanabe?
Watanabe?
I love that guy.
Yeah,
on a 40% clip from 3.
I understand what you're saying about the Nets. I just think that's the team that can fill it up the most, and I would agree. I want to see a fully healthy Bucks. Before I say them though, but that would be my next team right below the Nets. The problem I have with the Cavs, I think, just being around a lot of Cavs fans, Darius Garland has taken a step this year, and people don't even realize it. I mean, he is averaging the same amount of points. He's averaging 0.4 less rebounds and 0.6 less assists, and he added Donovan Mitchell to his team. So he became the number 2 option. He's averaging the same amount of stats. Now, I know there needs to be progression, especially in the late in games. He's had some games this year where he has not made the right decisions with the ball, and that'll obviously progress with experience. I think the person that needs to take the biggest step is Evan Mobley. Jared Allen's playing his role correctly. Evan Mobley for some people that are saying that Evan Mobley is now all of a sudden awful and has not taken sucks because he hasn't taken this step yet is wrong. Evan Mobley came back as a top 5, top 10 defender in the league, just efficiency wise and effectiveness. But offensively, he needs to be able to go get his bucket a little more one-on-one than he has so far this season, at least consistently. Once that happens, the Cavs are going to be a terrifying team because Donovan Mitchell has already proved that he can show up big in the playoffs. So that's my opinion on the Cavs right now. But I just don't know if anyone right now is the clear front runner to challenge the Celtics.